Welcome to another Instagram live session at House of Eve Counselling. In case you are catching up on this later and you're probably watching it on our YouTube channel, you're still very much welcome. The word, everything that's going to be said is timeless and is evergreen and will be helpful in your journey of accepting you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Say I'm looking nice. Thank you. I'm very well. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to be here again this evening. So you're welcome, whether you're watching this live or you're catching up later. It's great to have you join us here this evening. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Oluwatoyin Akiemi, the lead counselor here at House of Eve Counselling, where we are focused on family life counseling, especially for dysfunctional family therapy, and I'm excited to be your host once again. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes for more people to join. But in the interim, for those that are here, how has your week been? Toyosi, has your week been? Adetola Kwadeleke, has your week been? Melody, has your week been? How has it been? And you want to say one or two things that were key to hectic. Sorry that it's been hectic. I guess hectic also means that you've been working a lot, and I just pray for God's peace. Yes. Welcome to everyone that is joining. I'm excited to have you join us. Welcome. How's your week been? How has your week been? Who was here 2 weeks ago? That's July 18th. Actually, first of all, Happy New Month. It's August. It's the 1st of August. Happy New Month. Happy New Month. I forgot that. So the last time we met was July. Yes. So how was how was it the last time for those that were here? How many of you were here last time, which was our first time when we had TFA from Eden Marriages join us to discuss what it means to own your journey? Anybody here? Anybody here? Was anybody here that was here the last time? Okay, it's great to have everyone here again. All right. All right, Mr. Shola, great to have you here. Good evening, everyone. So I guess, we're just going to get right at it. Good evening and welcome to House of Eve Counselling. Tonight's session is all about accepting you. That's the topic. We kicked off last 2 weeks when we had our first live, where we started with what does it mean to own your journey. And again, we're back here again. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome. House of Eve Counselling has been set up to help you on your journey of finding you and being the best version of yourself. One of the questions that I get out most is, why Eve? Why Eve? Is this a female thing? No, it's not a female thing. Eve actually means life. In Genesis 3:20, it says, and Adam called her Eve, meaning mother of all living. And the life that God has promised us is abundant life, from John 10:10, which says, I've come to give you life and life in abundance. And so our goal here is for you to come to a place where you know that you deserve to live a life that is abundant, a life that is that is overflowing with God's blessings, whereby you yourself can be a blessing to others. So regardless of your background, where you've been, where you're coming from, where you currently are, or whatever it is, you deserve to live a life that is full and a completely abundant life. And so that is what House of Eve is. This is the house of all living. If you come here, regardless of where you are currently, you're supposed to be energized, recharged, and filled, knowing that you are supposed to live the life that is the abundant life. So and again, if you missed the last session, we now have a YouTube channel, and the last Instagram live has been uploaded there. It's our YouTube channel is called House of Eve Counselling. So, and you can always check it out. Check out our link tree, which is in our bio. So we have a link. We have a link in our bio, which leads to all our different. First of all, to the questionnaire, if you would like to get counseled by someone here at House of Eve, or if you like to go, have access to our YouTube channel, where everything that we shared on in the last 2 weeks is also there. Of course, this video would also be going there. Hello, Angel Dare. It's great to have you here this evening. So yes, so just a brief introduction again. For those who are joining for the first time, my name is Oluwatoyin. I'm the lead counselor here at House of Eve Counselling, where we are focused on family life counseling, specializing in dysfunctional family therapy. Thank you all for joining. And so, I'm just trying to answer some of the questions that we get asked in the DM, or people just generally ask me, what does Eve mean? It means life. It's not a female something cult or female ministry or something like that. Eve means life, like I said earlier on. I'm going to access any of our, any of these videos. It's on our YouTube channel called House of Eve Counselling. In our bio, there's a link tree link there where you can easily access the channel. And yes, for those who have also been asking, how do I access a counselor here at House of Eve? This service is free, by the way, for anyone that would love to be counseled. However, there is a let's get to know you questionnaire that is also in our bio. Once you click on that and you fill it out, we then reach out back to you and tell you the available time slots for you to begin your session. For some persons, they might find it lengthy and say, oh, it's so long. Yes, that is actually to get away with people that are serious, because the truth is that healing is a journey, and it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not a walk in the park. And so if you're the least you can do is to take your time to fill out the form properly, and then from there somebody can reach out to you and know how best to help you on your journey. And so all we require from you is your commitment to being the best version of yourself. Enough said. Let's get into today's topic, which is accepting you. Accepting you. What does that mean? Oh, by the way, this is my first time. I think my first time doing live alone, so it feels a bit weird. But please bear with me. You're my audience, so please try to keep it interactive. If you have any comments, go ahead to leave your comments. If you have a question, there's a button there for your question. Drop your question. It's supposed to be interactive. I'll take questions as we go along, even as I speak, and even take questions at the end. And of course, even your comments are welcome. I'll read that out loud as well. Thank you all for joining. I hope it's been a beautiful day for you, and happy new month, as we say here in Nigeria. So let's start. Right, I have some of my notes written out, and I'm just gonna start. So what does it mean to accept you? What exactly needs to be accepted? When you say, what does it mean to accept you? What needs to be accepted? Am I not who already, you might be asking yourself, am I not? Hello, Auntie Adike. Thank you for joining. Hello, Gloria. Am I not who I am already? That's the question. So what's this thing about accepting you? If I don't accept myself, who else will accept me? Or if I don't accept why do I need to accept myself? Why do I need to consciously, as it were, accept myself? Why exactly? Why the question? What's the meaning of accepting you? And if I'm to say this in just one phrase, accepting you means it's all about being self-aware. The honest truth is that you're not able to accept you for who you are if you don't even know you. I know that popular saying that says that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And that also applies to you too as a person. When you do not know you, when you don't know your purpose, when you don't know why you function the way that you function, why you react the way that you react, why you're triggered by the things that trigger you, why the things that make you happy, why the things that make you upset get you upset, why the things that make you sad. If you don't know all of these things, there's no way that there will not be abuse. And guess the first person who it is that would abuse you? It is you, because you do not know the purpose of this thing, or the purpose of this person that has been created, such that you're able to then understand yourself better and then accept yourself and function in the best way you should function, function optimally. Function. Think about a generator that is supposed to be 100 kVA, but then it's functioning at 5 kVA. That's in fact is wasting space, is wasting diesel, is wasting fuel, is wasting a lot of things. So you should function at optimal capacity. But if you do not know yourself, know how you all the things that formulate who you are, then it's impossible to function at optimal capacity. I know sometimes you hear people say, well, people take me for granted, people don't respect me, people don't do this. Do you know most reasons? Do you know why? Because you yourself are you don't love yourself, you don't accept yourself, you don't respect yourself, how do you expect somebody else to do that? But you even have a difficulty accepting yourself, loving yourself, respecting yourself, because you don't know you. So today's conversation is all about self-awareness, getting to know you as a person and coming to that place of accepting you. Don't forget that the general theme of what we do here at House of Eve is own your journey. That's our tagline, own your journey. And one of the things that we established at our last session was what is this journey that we're talking about. By the way, if you missed out, especially for those who just joined, if you go on the YouTube channel, we have a YouTube channel called House of Eve Counselling. The link is right in our bio. You can catch up on the session, because that lays a proper foundation of everything that House of Eve is all about. And so, the question is, what is this journey? What does it mean to own your journey? This journey is purpose. This journey it's a purpose. And so until you come to understand that it's not a destination, it is not a bus stop, but it's purpose. It's a purpose that it's a purpose. You will not function efficiently and optimally, like I earlier mentioned. And so even as you are now on this journey of accepting, on this journey, understanding why you function the way that you function, one of the key and paramount things you need to know is to accept you. And so if you don't come to a place of knowing that you are knowing that today you are a product of your experiences and everything that you've been through, there will always be a problem. So for you who is here, who maybe your name is Tokwe, your name is Darius, your name is Sade, your name is Melody, your name is Toyosi, my name is Oluwatoyin. You are where you are right now is as a function of all your past life experiences. It's a function of your past, from your environment, everything that's happened to you. Those are the things that have made up your components of who you are today. So let's just let's get right into it. And I would like to encourage you to please get a pen or pick up your phone. Okay, well, you can't pick up your phone because you're on the live, but if you could get a pen or something to just take some notes, because the truth is, like I said earlier, this is a journey. It is not a destination. It's not a destination. It is not a bus stop. It is a journey. And some of the things that we are discussing is, it's layer by layer, precept upon precept, right? It's not just something for you to listen to and that's it, and you're able to work on immediately. No. In fact, by the time we are done with this session, some of you will have to, which is what I typically do. When I hear something that is so heavy initially, I just shut down completely, almost like I'm in denial, right? I shut down completely, and I do that even for good news. Maybe it's exciting news. I just got this new, I just signed a new client, a big account, or maybe it's even something that is bad. I usually will shut down, almost in denial. Then I come back like next day to face it. So I do that for both good news and bad news. So maybe if you are like me, after listening to this evening session, you're probably going to shut down like, okay, so where exactly do we start from? Where exactly do I start from? So let me ask you, what has been your experience? You're here, you are male or female, single, married, separated, divorced, widowed. What's been your experience so far? Has it been good? Has it been bad? Has it been beautiful? Has it been? Is it good because it's still present? You're still living the life. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it beautiful? Is it confusing? Is it that you can't even put a word to it? What has been your life experience? What has been your life experience up until now? So, like I said earlier, we had established that this is all a journey. And so your life is a journey, right? And so that's what I'm asking you. That journey so far, whether you're 25 or 18 or 30 or 60 or 65 or 48 or 50 listening right now, what has been your experience so far? And I need you to understand that regardless of where you are right now, even if, and by the way, when we talk about journey, we're not talking about people that something bad has happened in your life, something devastating. No, good. I'm talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the nice, the good, everything, because the truth is that's usually how our life is. There's no one person that has it all good, and there's no one person. Well, some people say I've had it all bad, but the truth is, if you look within, you see where you can give thanks. So yes, what does it mean to accept you now that I've laid this foundation? Another thing I would like to add to this foundation before we get right into this conversation of self-acceptance is that there's an actual plan for your life. Yes, you who is divorced, you who is separated, you who is single, you that some people even call you mature single. By the way, sometimes I wonder, where do they get these words from? Which one is mature single, which one is immature single? Because these are tags that the world gives us and then begins to give you pressure, right? If you are ripe for marriage at 35, that is the right time. What is mature single? And they make you feel so bad about it. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day. Let's continue with this, right? So you who has daddy issues, you who has suffered rejection, you who has low self-esteem issues, you that everything is good, beautiful, you who has gone through a painful loss, maybe the loss of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a business, the loss of money, loss of a marriage, loss of a pregnancy. You, like in all of these things, do you know that regardless of all of that, there is a plan for your life? There is a purpose for your life. There is a plan for your life, and that's why you cannot allow the enemy make you sit in one place and feel like, you know what, the worst things are happening to me. I don't know why it's happening this way. I recall that one of the things that we greatly established at our last session is that you are not jinxed. It's not people from your village, which is what the enemy will try to make you think with the things that are going on in your life. So, but when you are aware of who you are, aware of your person, you realize that the incidents that have happened is just an occurrence. It doesn't define who you are. Yes, I know that we go through some things that are life defining actually, right? But what I'm trying to say is that while it's an event that is life defining, it does not define who you are. It cannot define your happiness. It cannot define your joy. It cannot define whether your hope. It cannot define whether you see your future as bright or not. No. And the choice, the decision for that definition of your life lies in your hands. And one of the things, again, in which you're able to stand tall, stand firm after all of your life experiences is when you know you and you accept you. And so, because when you're self-aware, right, regardless of what people have to say about you, what has happened before, where you're coming from, where you are, where you are going to, you're able to stand firm. You are confident, and even you yourself, in fact, you are in charge of charting your future. You are not afraid of what is to come because you are very much aware of who you are as a person. So yeah, let me just get right into. I was going to give some examples, right? And have you ever heard of all these people that say, "I don't ever want to be like my mom. I don't ever want to be like my dad," or you hear them say that, "Oh, that person as a boss is so mean, so mean. I don't want to ever be like the person." And you watch the same person rise up to that level of leadership, and it is even worse, more mean than their own boss when they were a junior. Have you ever encountered something like that? Please speak to me. Please speak to me. Have you ever, all people that say, even you yourself saying, "I don't want to ever be like my mom. I don't want to be like my dad. I don't like when my dad shouts. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my mom does this. She gets angry easily. I don't want to be that." Or in fact, this workplace one is so relative to me because even for me personally, if I'm being honest, I've seen where I say I don't want to be like, or I say, "This line manager is so mean. This lady is so this," and all of that. And sometimes now that I run my own company, I have people that work with me, and for me, I find myself doing some things, and I'm like, this is the exact thing I said I would never do when they were doing it to me. How come I'm doing it? But because I'm self-aware, I'm on a journey of daily being self-aware and working on myself, I then catch myself and I make adjustments. And that's why I said this thing is a journey. You're constantly making adjustments, Nobody is responding. People are forming saints, Abby. So you've never said, "I don't want to do this thing," and then you find yourself doing the exact same thing, right? Nobody's admitting to that, because I've not seen any comment of anybody admitting to that. But I want to share an experience that I recently an experience that I should I say an experience that I recently came across, or how do I explain that? But I have a friend, right? This friend, parents are still married, about 50 years married and all of that. By the way, I'm going to be tweaking some facts, obviously, so as to stay discreet. So let's assume I have this friend whose name is Tunde. His parents have been married for 50 years and they are still together. Tunde is 38, 35 and just got married, right? And he just got married, and before he got married, we had been friends, and we talk a lot, we banter a lot. In fact, he's one of my close G's. I call him my brother and all of that. So we just talk and everything, and just some usual conversations. I hear things like maybe say, my mom and my dad, they are going at each other again. Remember that I said they've been married for 50 years? Oh, they are going at each other again, or XYZ or something like that. Like, I just hear some comments, and then sometimes I find those things funny. I'm like, after 50 years of marriage, or like, oh, my dad's sister said this to my mom, or my dad's sister did this to my mom, or my mom and my dad, in-law wahala and everything. But I'm sure that you have thought in-law wahala happens at 5 years of marriage, 10 years of marriage, 15 years, and not people that have been married for about 40, 45 years of marriage and everything. And from our conversations, basically, there are some things I'm like, but this should not be happening. Your dad is meant to stand up for your mom. Your dad is supposed to not allow his siblings to talk to your mom this way, or be dragging her like this and everything. And then even him, like, I beg, don't mind my dad. Is there anything his family says and everything? Guess what? My friend has been married for about 5 years now. And his wife, she was quite upset. Let me say she was quite upset. There is something that is an ongoing battle between them. And when she opened up, guess what she said? She says, so part of things that she says is the fact that my mother-in-law, which is my friend's mom, said this right in front of your friend, and your friend could not even say anything to protect me or to defend me. So many instances and examples that you give to me, and of course she's speaking to me in confidence, not with him being there, because it's me and him that are actually friends, but so just in extension, I'm her friend. And then she's telling me some of these things, and I'm going, how can these things be? But guess what occurred to me the most? These were the exact same things his dad was doing to his mom, and he saw wrong, and myself and him will talk about it and say, no, your dad is meant to stand up for your mom. Your dad is not supposed to allow his sisters to talk to your mom this way. And here is my friend that we both condemned it and said this is not right, doing the exact same thing to his wife. Not standing up for her, not protecting her, and when I'm talking about standing up for her, protecting her, I'm not talking about like things that don't make sense. I'm talking about like proper things that these are things that should stay within our family, and there should be no interference of your family or anything like that. My friend is not doing any of those things, and so another person who is aware of this situation is shocked and saying, "Oh, Oluwatoyin, you need to talk to your friend XYZ, this, that." And all of that, and I'm saying to and he is upset, and I'm like, no, you don't understand what is happening. What people don't understand is that we love to say, I don't want to be like her, I don't want to be like him, I don't want to behave that way. But when you take no conscious effort, when you are not intentional to ensure you do not do those things, you do exactly that same thing, and even worse. Why? Because that is what your mind is programmed to. So there's a guy who grew up in a house where his dad is constantly beating his mom. He's witnessed the domestic violence, and growing up as a child, he said that I would never hit my wife, I would never do this. This same guy gets married and begins to hit on his wife. And then he feels, oh, I'm the devil, I'm worse, I'm an animal. No. Because that is what his mind has been accustomed to. A man beating a woman. As much as in his own head, logically, he knows that it is wrong. He has not taken conscious steps. He has not been intentional to undo what his mind has been programmed to ensure that even he, as a man, whether in a relationship or whether married or engaged, does not raise his finger at a woman. What your mind has been conditioned to, you don't take it away by saying, it's not by words, I'm never going to do that. It's not by wishing it away. It doesn't happen by a snap of a finger. Imagine your mind being programmed and used to doing something for 28 years. You're 28 years old. It's done it for 28 years. And then all of a sudden you expect that, you're not going to shout. You will shout. In fact, let me take very real example, growing up, I said, why is mommy always shouting? Why is my mom always shouting? And all of that. And then I realized that I do the same thing. And I'm like, the exact same thing I said I don't want to do. I'm not married. I don't even have kids here though. And I shout. I had to to intentionally and consciously work at it. So I had to understand myself. When people upset me, I just go quiet, because I know that if I allow myself to be, I will do what my natural self is used to, what my natural self is programmed to, which is to and everything. But that's not who I want to be as a person. And so basically, the summary of everything that I've said here is the fact that if you do not intentionally put in the work of the kind of life you want to see, the kind of future that you want, every single thing from your past life, from your life experiences, or from your childhood or anything, you are going to repeat the same thing, if possibly even worse than in the measure that you found it, just because that's what your mind has been accustomed to and programmed to, and you refuse to undo it. And by the way, it's not a one-off thing. It's not a one-off thing. For 30 years, you've seen things done in a certain way, and that's what your mind is used to. So, for example, what could my friend have done? My friend should not just have assumed that, and that's that thing that I say about dysfunctional family. People think that people from a broken home that are from a dysfunctional family. That's not true. You can be from a two-parent home, and you are still, the environment that's been created by your parents is dysfunctional, and you as a person, you've grown up with a dysfunctional mentality, and you think that's how life is, right? And so what could my friend have done? Realizing that the fact that even already realized that, the way my dad, even my dad or his family interferes in his parents' marriage wasn't right. It was to learn, how do I ensure that this doesn't happen? How did they get to this point that easily his siblings interfere? That's his dad's siblings easily interfere in his parents' marriage. What are the steps? What are the boundaries to put in place, even as a young person going into marriage? I'm sure he didn't do those things, or maybe if he did, it was just a one-off thought in his head, and that's why now, even though me and this person sat down for so long to talk about the things that were happening in his parents' home that he never liked, right? He is now repeating the same, and he's not even aware. That's the worst part. He's so blind to it. He's not aware of it, and that's basically because that's what his mind has been accustomed to over time. I hope you haven't lost you. You're flowing with me. You are enjoying this conversation. I hope you are, right? So let's get into this. So I have about 5 steps of how to accept you. I've spoken about being self-aware, right? The journey of being self-aware and accepting you for who you are. If you have any questions, please go ahead and drop your questions. I'm going to be taking questions as I go on. But first of all, I hope I haven't lost you and you're with me. Are you with me? Let me see your response in the comment section. I hope you're with me, right? Either you wave, or you drop an emoticon, or you just drop a comment. Let me know that you're here and I'm not here alone. All right. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily, for the response. Bukayo, thank you. You're with me. All right. Okay. And please go ahead to drop anything that has resonated with you. So that example I just gave, can you relate with it? Can you relate with it? Does it make sense to you? Can you actually relate with it, right? While I let you guys drop your messages, right, I'm just going to go into part 1 of what is this thing about being of accepting yourself. Hello, Laurie. It's been a while. Great to see you again. Number 1 is self-understanding, and you could call it introspection or meeting you. In fact, let's do it that way. It's time for you to meet you. I'm calling it part 1, which is self-understanding or introspection, or calling meeting you. This is Oluwatoyin Taiwo Akieni wanting to meet Oluwatoyin. In fact, let me tell you something. So people who know me, I say my past life, people who know me up until 2020, my birthday is in November. People who know me up until November 2020 have called me Toyin. So anybody you see around me that calls me Twin, just know that this person knows me very well, maybe from primary, uni, family, because as a 2020 is just 4 years ago. I've been out of uni for about 13 years now. So that means they know me quite well, right? And so everybody here calling me Twin. Anybody here calling me Oluwatoyin, 2 things. They just met me from the year 2021, or they've adapted to the fact that I said, I don't want to be called Toyin, I want to be called Oluwatoyin. Why? Because when Toyin came to understand and know Toyin, I realized that Toyin does not even have meaning. That I came to realize that my life's journey was such that indeed God is worthy to be praised, which is the meaning of my name. And so since then, I turned 30 in November 2020. So from November 2020, I ask, whenever I meet people, I'm like, what's your name? My name is Oluwatoyin. And I make it clear, please do not call me Toyin. My name is Oluwatoyin. Some people think I'm fussy about it, but it is my name because I came to know me. I came to realize me. And, just looking at all the things, my journey so far, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything. I'm like, God, you're a good father and you're worthy to be praised. I'm like, why would I let anybody call me Toyin? Toyin does not even have meaning. If I was in secondary school, somebody call me Toyin Van. Toyin Van. And then, of course, now from Nollywood, Toyin Tomato, which is one I hate the most actually. You want to upset me, call me Toyin Tomato. And then I came up with Toyin Billions. That's why some persons still call me Toyin, say Toyin Billions. Anyways, from then I then said, my name is Oluwatoyin, not Toyin, because God is worthy to be praised. I came to know myself. I came to accept myself. I came to accept my journey, and it is still a journey, by the way, because nobody gets it. Aside saying nobody is perfect, nobody gets it in terms of like, oh, now I've discovered it, let's move on. If not, even for our faith as Christians, what we need to do is get born again and let us just die and go to heaven. No, our salvation, we continue to work it daily. We continue to work our salvation daily. So like I said, back to the conversation of number one, which is meeting you. What does this involve? What does it entail? It involves a lot of introspection. It involves you getting to know yourself at a deeper level, at a deeper and profound level. Getting to outside of, as in when I say know yourself, it's not by your BSc, it's not by the money in your account, it's not by your career, it's not by your relationship, maybe your husband or your wife, or the fact that you're a mother, you have children, or it's not by any of those things. It is you. So you being stripped of qualification, promotion, relationship, accomplishment, career, and all those things, it is coming to know the real person. When I think about it now, in time past, there were times that, I don't know if, there were times that I was confident based on my bank account. But there was a season I went through, I will never forget, that, to even when you wake up in the morning and you're praying about, God, please provide money for fuel. And somebody just randomly send you 15K. I'm like, God, you are faithful. It got to a point that when I want to make my hair, I will have to tell God about it. Like, Holy Spirit, I would like to make my hair this week, because there was nothing. I had absolutely nothing, right? And I was transitioning between jobs then, and I didn't have I didn't have a good financial lifestyle. I was living from paycheck to paycheck, even though I was earning so well. So now I'd left this job, I'd not gotten another job, and I had no savings, I had nothing, right? And I have to tell God, please, I need to make my hair today. And made my friend just say, Toyin, then they call me Toyin, I'm lazy to go to the salon, come and follow me to the salon, I'll pay for your hair. And moment I'm like, God, you are faithful, Lord. Thank you very much. Like, when I went through that season and I came out of it, I've come to realize now that you don't understand. My boast is in that I have God. Because I have him, I have everything. It's not my bank account. In fact, I have a business coach who is actually on the call. Right, Mr. Demola. I have a business coach, and one of the things, when he started training me financially, in terms of building finances for your business and all of that, he told me something that now makes sense to me, that the truth is that when you actually have a lot, you're not scampering to buy everything. You're actually content and satisfied. So you have the money in your bank account, but you're not looking for 101 things to buy. But those people that they don't have anything, they want to buy the latest iPhone, they want to buy this, that's why you see people say, have you seen the kind of phone that Tesla is using? Have you seen the kind of phone that Steve Jobs is using? Because it's not about money. It's not about the things that I carry or the latest designer or any of those things. But anyways, don't let me get distracted. Let me come back here, right? Who are you? You coming to know yourself and meet yourself outside of all the things, being a father, being a mother, being a pastor, you're being a PhD holder, being a pilot, being any of these things. Who are you, right? I'll tell you that, I am Toyin Billions, right? But anyways, I'm not Toyin Tomato. Who are you? Who are you not? For sure, I am not Toyin Tomato, but you can call me Toyin Billions. I'm Toyin Billions, right? But who are you? Who are you not? These are the things, and that's why I say, please get a pen if you can, where you're asking yourself, who am I? Who is Oluwatoyin? Who is Emily? Who is Priye? Who is Laura? Who are you? And then you even ask that question, who are you not? Because there's a way circumstances and different things, and even people want to define and say this is who this person is. But you, because you are now becoming self-aware, you know yourself, you can say no. They might say that, but that is not who I am. So who are you? I want you to write in wherever you're writing, I am XYZ. I am not XYZ. And I want to personalize the questions I'm asking so you can ask yourself the same thing. How am I? How are you? How am I? What are the key life moments? What key life moments define who I am today? I can say my own. In fact, the key life moment that defined who I am today is the reason why I'm doing House of Eve today. Well, guess what? Someone sent me a message earlier on today and said, I love how you've turned pain to purpose. And, I know, of course, we've all heard that before, but nobody had ever said that to me, or maybe I'd never processed it that way. And it hit deep for me because it was actually the truth. My old story is the fact that my parents got separated when I was 17. And, I just found myself dealing from one thing to the other, rejection, low self-esteem, and all of that, daddy issues, a whole lot of stuff. I'm always second-guessing myself, imposter syndrome. People tell me, you're confident, you're well-spoken and everything, but it's a lie. I'm always second-guessing myself. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm worthy to be in the room. All these things that affected my esteem and my self-confidence. And I had to come to a place of knowing who I am. First of all, it started off from even believing the things that people said about me before I got to this point, right? And that's why I've been able to, like, if you see how somebody will say, you've been able to turn pain into purpose. Because what I'm trying to say to you, everyone, if I can shout it as much as I can, is that what you've been through does not define you. You are divorced, it doesn't define you. But I know that in Africa, they've idolized marriage such that even the person that is not married feels that there's something wrong with that. I used to feel that way too. In fact, there's a joke I have now. Because I used to feel like it's based on good behavior that people used to marry. So me that I'm not married, it's because I have bad behavior. But men, I've met some very badly behaved married women that says, if you can marry, I have hope. Oh. But that's what makes you realize that it is not by those things. It is not by those things. But you will never know these things if you do not come to a place of knowing yourself and accepting yourself. You think it's not from your village, that's why you have not married. And I'm not excusing a place of patterns or maybe generational curse or some like spiritual things. No, there's a place for that. There's a place where you deal with those things with the blood, knowing who you are as a Christian, with your spiritual authority. Right? There's a place for that. But a lot of times, those things are from a place of they're from a place of lack of knowledge. From a place of lack of knowledge. And with the knowledge that you need is light. And that light just transforms you. And so the deliverance that a lot of us actually need is deliverance of our mind, whereby light infiltrates our heart and darkness is gone, and that light is knowledge. And you're like, no, I'm more than that, I'm better than this. Some people, I heard someone say something in June. I heard a pastor say, he said that your husband is not the guy that left you 6 days to your wedding date. If it was your husband, he wouldn't have left you. Your wife is not that person that broke up the engagement. The person is not your wife. You don't get it. He's not your wife. That's why the person left. Your own will stay. You don't need to struggle about it. So be grateful that one that left you and returned your ring to you. Be grateful because you want somebody that will go the long mile with you. The guy who left you 6 days and canceled the wedding, better be grateful that it's not after you've entered and said daughter and they realize that, XYZ or something like that. The person was never your husband or your wife. That's it, period. So, what are the last question I asked was, what key life moments define who you are today? What key life moments? I know that some of them are not good. Maybe you sexual abuse, raped as a child or even an adult. Maybe you had to find yourself having to go through an abortion or something. Maybe like a divorce or loss of a spouse, a loss of a marriage, loss of a relationship. Maybe the fact that maybe you've gotten some bad medical reports and you are having to live with it. It is what it is, based on your current situation, even though you are still trusting God for healing. What are those key life moments? Write everything down. The good ones, because there are good ones too. The bad ones, write every single thing down. How do others see you? Because these are all the things. We're going to write everything down, right? Remember that we're trying to meet you. How do others see you? How do they speak of you? What do people say about you? What brings out the most, what gives you the most passion, fulfillment, and joy? What is that thing? I can tell you, for me, once I'm talking about love, love, relationship, marriage, and now maybe events, because I'm an event projects manager. You see my light, my eyes shine so bright. It gets me excited. I don't have to get paid to plan an event. It's something I do joyfully. And when I talk about relationships and marriage, because seeing relationship and marriage gives me a lot of joy. So what is that thing that brings out the best passion? Gives you the what is that thing? You need to recognize it. Gives you the most passion, fulfillment, and joy. It could be your job. It could be something in particular. Maybe it's a skill that you've learned or something. The key defining life moments, right, that have happened in your life. How has it shaped the person that you are today? It has shaped you either in the good or the bad. There was a point in my life that I didn't want to get married. My plan was get out of school, work, have a lot of money, hire a nanny, adopt a child. Nanny being female, my child being a girl, plus me. I'll live in a penthouse in Victoria Island, and I'm living my life balling. No marriage in the picture. That was my plan at some point in time. Of course, what was the key moment that shaped that? Because my parents got separated, and I'm like, marriage, I'm never going there. But that was then. But imagine if I didn't walk that journey, which I'm still on that journey. Whether you accept it or not, everything that's had those key defining ones, they shaped who you are today as a person. They shaped who you are. And the final question I have, not final question, is, are you happy with you? Am I happy with who I am? I am happy with who I am. I'm at a place right now that I can say, I am happy with who I am. I'm not hard on myself anymore. I am not. I am in a place whereby I want to receive feedback. When I mess up, I want to apologize. When I do what I'm not supposed to do, I acknowledge it. Like, in fact, I have conversations with myself early in the morning. That's early in the morning. I don't talk to anybody. So if you notice I come in the morning, I don't pick your call. Don't be angry. That's why. Because I'm literally retrospecting on everything that happened the day before. Oluwatoyin, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, no, you shouldn't have behaved that way. Oh, you were too this. You were too... Like, I'm talking to myself about it. I want to sound a note of warning here. This whole thing is a process, so it is a process, and you cannot rush the process. I'm just stating steps in which things you need to do for you to be able to come to a point of accepting you. And that's why the topic is not accepting you present continuous, because it's a forever journey. But there's even a certain level you need to first get to, and then you continue that journey. Because a lot of people are not self-aware. A lot of people are not aware. They are not, as in, when you say Nigeria is happening to them, a lot of things are happening to them. They don't know what is happening to them at all. They don't know. So please, it's not a process to be rushed. This is a process, and it's a process of decluttering yourself and being real and vulnerable. You need to be vulnerable. By the way, I had a mentor who will say that you can lie to everybody. I say, oh, this lie, whatever lie you want to tell, lie to everybody. You can form that you are lying to God. Right? You know how we're in denial about something. Like, God is not like that. Of course, God, that's not what happened. You can form your lying to God. But guess the one person you cannot lie to. Guess who that person is? You. Y-O-U. You, the person you see right in front of the mirror. So pretend to other people. Lie to other people. But the one person who knows the truth, the one person you cannot lie to, is yourself. So this process, these questions I'm asking you to write down and answer, it requires you to be very sincere with yourself. It requires you to be vulnerable with yourself, because that's when you can really come to the place of accepting yourself. Some of you know you are mentally lazy. Write it down. Write it down. I know I can do better here. Oh, I know that I can be flirtatious. By the way, don't let me jump ahead of myself, because nobody has it. Nobody is perfect. So we have the good, we have the bad, we have our weaknesses, we have our strengths. But write everything down. You need to be very vulnerable with yourself. You have to be genuine with yourself when carrying out this exercise. And by the way, it's not a one-day thing. It might take days, it might take weeks, it might even take months, but just ensure that you do it. And that's why this will go up on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to it again, just to take down this points of the things that I am saying. And don't get tired, because you need to remember that it is on a journey. This is a journey. It is a journey. And so don't get tired of it. It's a process. For me, one of the things I would say is, if I were to do this again, is I will actually go on a date with myself. Nice restaurant, quiet, no distractions, bring out my journal, and then just begin to answer all these questions. Who am I? Who am I not? What do people think about me? What do people say about me? What are the key life moments, key defining moments that have happened in my life? What have these key defining moments in my life how has it shaped who I am today, right? And now, going on to the next phase of it, next set of questions is, what do you struggle with? Where do I struggle the most? So what are you struggling with? There are some people that, because of the abuse I know that's why they say hurting people hurt people. Because of the abuse, all the people that you say as pedophiles, they were not born as pedophiles. They were not. And I'm not encouraging pedophiles. But they were not born that way. Ask questions. Go to their history. By the way, they refuse to do something that like this that we are discussing about. That's why their desires have taken over them. There are some people that today they are addicted to pornography. They are addicted to masturbation. Why? Because somebody abused them as a 3-year-old child, which is not their fault. Which is another thing I need to say to anybody that is on this live right now. Were you abused as a child or something? It is not your fault. Were you raped by somebody because even if you want mini skirt or something, it is not your fault. Stop blaming yourself. And that's part of the reason why you need to accept you. There's a community I used to run before called the Purity Journey Community, and it's for singles who want to live sexually pure and wait until marriage. And I remember one of our leaders shared with us saying that, he later got very addicted to pornography, got addicted to masturbation, then even began to, got addicted to sex. Like he just used to, not just with his girlfriend though. And this one that is a Christian, his pastors are Christians and all of that. So ideally sex before marriage should not happen, but this guy was busy sleeping around. At some point he said he even went to one girl abused him that, your game is not tight or something like that. He went into a school that, they teach on sex and different positions and everything, because his goal was now that any girl that he has sex with, she must say, you are the best person I've ever slept with. And he went on and on and on like that, till his turning point was his girlfriend got pregnant once, and then he said, no, you have to abort. And when she aborted, he didn't want her to abort. He was like, well, it has happened, let's keep the baby. And she says, no, she can't, her life is real, blah blah blah, she needs to abort. And she did that. And for him, it felt so terrible, right? And of course, going through therapy, going through even TPJ, coming to TPJ and working with him and all of that, one of the things said was that he was a 3-year-old when a girl in his I think he said his school, no, it was in primary 3, when his school mother would go under the table and be touching his private parts. That's when he got awakened sexually, and look at what he did to him up until adulthood. And that's why we need to come to a place of accepting ourselves and even knowing the necessary help we might need. If not, these things have a way to want to control you, and that's exactly the plan of the enemy: to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That's it. And not make you live the abundant life that God has for you. So, and that's the whole purpose of House of Eve, where you come to a point of knowing who you are, accepting who you are, owning your journey, and being the best version of yourself, knowing that your past or your environment or whatever it is that's happened in your life does not define who you are. It doesn't define your future. Let me come back to the list I was saying. So what do you struggle with the most? Where do you struggle the most? Where do you need to improve? Like I said, I'll personalize it. Where do I need to improve? Where do I struggle the most? What fears hold me back? Some of us have fears. Like I said earlier, I had fear of getting married. Now I'm a lover girl. I love love so much. I love love. Let me hear of a happy couple. You see me blushing like it's me that they are talking about. What fears hold you back? What habitual emotions hurt you? What mistakes do you tend to make? You see yourself making the same mistake over and over again. Some people say that, you know what, there was a time in my life that I was married men that were always toasting me. I don't know what happened, right? I was like, what was going on here? Why is we married men that are always toasting me? Why? And I had to do this introspection. And I realized that, first of all, they are the ones that something is wrong with. It wasn't because I was saying, I want to date a married man. Come and to my forehead. No, it wasn't that. It was that I didn't have proper boundaries. So while conversations might have started from just casual or business and everything, they were going beyond the typical proper boundaries. That before you know it, emotional attachment has started, which is unnecessary. So it means that just as it was married men, it could also have been single guys or anybody. But if you're not careful, say, it's my village people, it's married men, this is and everything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Are you self-aware? Do you even understand why the things happening to you are happening? What mistakes do you tend to make? Why do I tend to consistently let myself down? And so going to the next set of questions, which is, what abilities do I have? What am I really good at? And that's what I was saying about. There's the good part, there's the bad part, there's the weaknesses, there's the strengths. What am I really good at? What do people constantly praise you for? What do people constantly praise you for? I can tell you mine. People constantly praise me for being, like, they call me a fixer. Just bring me to that situation, I'll sort it out. And I didn't even realize that about me until people started saying it. That you're a fixer, you are reliable, you're a fixer. And I can tell you one of the things that people also started telling me that I had to look at, which is the fact that I used to disappear. I can be so present in your life right now, next thing, I'll just vanish. And I realized that, it's when I'm going through something, rather than letting it out, I'll just go under the rock. I don't talk to anybody. And, the friend gave me feedback that that's not good. You put yourself in a position such that you're so reliable and everything, and then all of a sudden you just disappear. You don't tell anybody anything. They can't find you. And I have to work on that feedback to know that, first of all, if I'm going through stuff, I need to be able to share with people. And then also working on the fact that I cannot put myself in people's lives as a savior, so that they are so dependent on me. And because I had a time in my life, it was difficult for me to say no to people. Anything you ask me, I'll say yes. And I was always swamped, people pleasing. And the people pleasing, I got to realize that it's part of the effect of my parents not being together. Because I'm like, if they separated, maybe it's because they don't want me. And so anything, I'll just be doing things just for people to want me, just to please them. Before I realize that, no, you cannot be that way. It's not sustainable. You will burn out. Let me move quickly. What is the next stage? Self-acceptance stage. Now you know you. If you've answered all those questions truthfully, I can bet with you that you know you right now. You know your weaknesses. You know your strengths. You know the good. You know the bad. You know the things that trigger you. You know the things that upset you. You know the things that make you happy. Now that you know you, now that you see the things that you like about yourself, you see the things that you don't like about yourself, you recognize all those things. Now your goal is to accept them, because this is you. Just follow me, come with me. I'm not saying you should accept bad habits, but just listen to what I'm saying. After you've answered all those questions, it is now time to accept you for you. You've asked yourself, why do I behave like this? Why am I not consistent in my ways? Why does it seem like I'm laid back? And along the line of answering some questions, you guys realize that, maybe it's my personality. Okay, what can I do better? What can I, how do I help myself, knowing that this is a certain weakness for me? And now that you know all these things, you know the good, you know the neutral, you know the bad about yourself, you know the things you're proud of, you know the things you're not proud of. Your goal is now to accept them. Why? Because it is you. And because you're accepting them does not mean that you're saying, I don't want to be better. No, that's not what it means. It just means, first of all, accepting you. I had to come to a place of accepting that, yes, your parents got separated. You're not the ones whose parents got separated. Yes, he affected you in this way. Yes, it made me have low self-esteem at some point. Yes, I started having daddy issues. Yes, it made me I didn't even realize. In fact, I didn't realize until this year that I was dealing with rejection. That people can't say no to me. It was just this year, sometimes February, March this year, that I realized it. And I read all books. because it's one of the things that Joyce Meyer really dealt with, right? So I read up a lot of articles and things that she had written, listening to her podcast, to realize now that yes, this is where the rejection stems from. But it cannot be a trigger for me all the time. Someone says no to me and then the next thing no, it can't be a trigger. That's why I said it's a journey. And I have to accept it. But the truth is, you can't accept what you don't know. And you say, the guy does not accept me, the guy does not love me. Do you know you? Do you love you? You've not finished knowing yourself. You've not finished accepting yourself. You've not finished respecting yourself. You now want somebody from outside to come and love you, respect you. Maybe some people, that's why you're not married yet, because God knows that if any guy or any lady that comes into your life says that you do not value yourself, the way the person will treat you will even be worse. So let's get you to a point. I always tell my friends, a particular friend, that God is a good father, very, very good, but he's not emotional. He's not emotional. That lesson he wants you to learn, you will learn it. You will not be poor. You will not be hungry. You won't beg for food. He will provide. He will do everything. You will rub your head. Oh, my beautiful darling. But that lesson, that key thing that he's trying to teach you in that season, my darling, you're going to learn it. You will learn it. You will learn it. So now that you've accepted yourself, let's move to the third part, which is self-love. You now know you've accepted you. Now it's time to love that person. It's time to love you. This person you've just discovered. It's time to love you. Love you with the good parts. Love your flaws. Love your limitations. Love your weaknesses. Love your strength. It's time to love you. And maybe there are some things, maybe you are struggling, because I realize that people struggle with self-love, struggle with self-acceptance. Affirm yourself. Write down your affirmations. There are some things that you need to start writing down. I am beautiful. I am wise. I am intelligent. Sometimes you don't feel like it. You don't think it's even true about yourself, right? But then you write these things down and continue to say to yourself, to your mind. Remember what I said about mind at the beginning? Your mind is accustomed to this. Your mind is used to the way you've been treating yourself as trash. Your mind is used to the way you treat yourself as someone that is not important, as a nobody. Your mind is not going to change all of a sudden. Why? Because you listen to House of Eve Counselling. No. You have to train your mind. And in those affirmations you are daily repeating, I am beautiful, I am wise, I attract good people, I attract favor, my business flourishes, the works of my hands are blessed, my hands are not empty, I am not jinxed, I move forward, I am worthy, I am accepted, I deserve love, I deserve love, I can love, people can love me back, I am capable, I am valuable. I love myself wholeheartedly. You say these things to yourself over time till your mind begins to accept it. Don't forget that your mind has been accustomed to something else for the last, 35 years? Or for the last 40 or 50 years? Affirmations will really help you. And that's why, if that when that concept, God is just, the scripture is complete. I say that. Scripture is complete. God knows what he's doing. It says 1 + 1 = 1. And so even God needs you to come to a place of wholeness, so he can bring your other partner who is also whole, so that your 1 + 1 can actually be 1. Because in his marriage institute, 1 + 1 is not 2, 1, a whole number. And these are the things you need to do to get to that place of being whole. Self-acceptance, self-love, self-recognition. I'm moving to the fourth stage, which is recognition stage. Now you have fully accepted yourself. You're able to practice self-love and self-compassion. I'm kinder to myself on some things now. There are some days that I don't even have the inner strength to encourage myself enough. But I have people who are my friends, my tribe, who know my journey, that I call and like, this is how I feel. I need you to encourage me. Or there even still happened to me 2 days ago, where I wasn't feeling quite encouraged with work and all of that. And I told the Holy Spirit, I said, what would make me really feel good? If I don't have to mention this to anybody, but I get a call or something, a word or something that just encourages me, and I know that you're so intentional about me. Of course, God is not a remote that this is how I want it to happen and to happen. No. But sometimes when you ask like that, he gives it to you. And yes, my friend from London just called me out of the blues. I said, I just thought to encourage you. In fact, we had a question about something. We had spoken about 20 minutes before I said, I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and I just want to encourage you. I'm like, Holy Spirit, you hear me. My favorite word for God is Elroy, the one who sees me, because he always makes me feel seen. So now, recognition stage. Now that you've recognized all these things, you're able to practice kindness to yourself, self-love, self-compassion. In fact, by the time you get to this stage, you realize that what people have to say or what they think about you doesn't matter. This is that part I was talking about, that you don't have money in your account. It doesn't make you more confident or less confident. You have money in your account. It doesn't make you more confident or less confident, because you've gone through a journey of accepting you for you. Self-acceptance, self-love, self-recognition. You have now accepted yourself. You are the one defining yourself. You are you. You know how God says, I am the I am that I am. You can come to the next, I know me. This is me. You recognize yourself. It's not by your qualification. It's not by any other thing. No, not by any of those things. And then the final stage, which is responsibility stage. What does this mean? You take full responsibility for your life. So your strengths, how can you be better at them? The things that you know that come to you naturally, that people praise you for, how can you be better at them? Your weaknesses, how do you work on them? How can you be better at those things? The weaknesses that you have, the things people complain about you, the things you yourself have noticed about yourself that isn't so great. What are you doing? What conscious effort are you making? What are you undoing? What are you relearning? What are you doing differently to work out those weaknesses that you have? What are you doing? Because all of this is a complete failure. Remember that we're trying to get to a point of knowing, of living an abundant life. We're trying to get to a point of living the best version, being the best version of ourselves. Now you know all these things about yourself and you refuse to take responsibility. It's all a waste. It's all a waste. So how are you harnessing your strengths? What are you doing to be better, with your weaknesses? Working on them. Right? Do you need to sign up for counseling? Do you need to sign up for therapy? Do you need to write out your affirmations and constantly speak them? That's responsibility. This is the responsibility stage where you take responsibility for all these things that we said, right? Because you no longer see yourself as my life is this or that. It's because this happened to my father, or then my mother did not do this and then this happened, blah, blah, blah. Nah, we've come to a place of where we've come to realize the real you. Where you know that even though this incident that happened in my life was very life-defining, right? Especially for the negative ones, you realize that it's just an event. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are as a person. It doesn't do that. So you take responsibility, right? And I think one of the things I really like to mention on this point, I'm done sharing on what it means to accept you, is that healing is not a walk in the park. Let me say that. If someone can even help me type that so that everybody can see it. Healing is not a walk in the park. Do you know why? Because there are some wounds that we've put band-aid on. We've even, put like a crepe bandage on, but it didn't heal properly. I remember one time my mom had this, in fact, it was a fall. It was a domestic accident. Very domestic accident. I think she was walking in the living room and then one of the maybe it was a coffee table or something just hit into her leg. And it was just a little it was a deep cut, but it was little. And of course, what did we do? We put iodine on it so that it could stop bleeding. And we thought it was okay. Before we knew it, the wound was expanding. It stopped bleeding, right? It stopped bleeding, but then it began to expand and expand. If you know what we ended, this thing, we got to a point that doctor was telling us that she needed to do skin grafting. Something that was a little wound. That's what happens when you don't allow wounds to heal properly. So you might feel like I'm doing okay now. I don't need to do all this thing you're saying. Please, making me go and ask questions or realize what happened in my past or what I keep defining moments is making me go to a place of pain and all of that and everything. I promise you that you don't want to see what that wound is going to turn into. That's when you hear some people, when you hear some things, some things when some situations whereby it was a little wound, it wasn't properly handled, and you're hearing they need to amputate or something. So healing is not a walk in the park. Thank you for that, Florence. It's not a walk in the park because it requires you to go back to, by the time you ask these questions and do all these things, the 5 steps that I've just taken you through, you find yourself removing the plasters and the band-aids that you've put on some wounds, and maybe it has just dried on the surface, but it has not healed properly, And in trying to remove the bandage, you're making it a fresh wound again. But I promise you that you are better off for it. Your future self will be grateful for you. Your unborn children, or even your children that are even already born, will be grateful for it. Why? Because there are some trauma, there are some things that you stopped in your own generation, and it doesn't translate to the next generation. I don't know if any of you have seen this video that's been on that's been on Instagram, where it was this cup. There are different cups lined up, right? And it was like a dark liquid, like Coca-Cola or something like that. And the person was pouring water. Okay, I think it was just one cup. Yeah, sorry, one. There were different cups lined up. So one had, like, is it Coca-Cola in it or something like that? And then she poured it into another, poured that content into another glass that had just normal water in it, and they began to dilute and dilute and dilute. And so it was saying, like, great grandmother, grandmother, mother, child. And the question is, what part are you playing to ensure that you don't pass on negativity, trauma, or anything, patterns that happened in your life or in your generation to the next generation? Because the truth is that if your parents didn't do the work, that's why you're going through what you're going through. If I don't do the work, if you don't do the work, we are passing it on to the next generation. So can you please do the work? It's not even just about you now. You realize that it's not about you. It's about the future generation to be grateful for you, because you birthed a new thing in their generation. You birthed a new thing in your dynasty. You birth a new thing in your lineage. That is what is called legacy. Legacy is not building one big 12-story building and they put your name on it, and then now so that when the person passes, they say, that's your that's not legacy. That's not legacy. Legacy is what I've just described, whereby whatever it is right now, that negativity, whatever it is, you can stop it at your, because you are conscious, and you stop it, and it does not continue in your generation. That's how patterns end. That's how patterns end. So who's going to put in the work? Are you ready to put in the work? And that's why what we're here for at House of Eve, which is, you want to go through this thing. Some of the things that we've listed might be difficult for some of you to do, right? And that's why sign up for counseling. Let's hand hold you and walk you through this journey. Now that you are aware, you realize what it is to own your journey. You realize what it takes to accept you. And you feel like, I can't do this alone. I need, because indeed, I went through therapy. I went through counseling, did all of that to get to this point I currently am. I still have a therapist. I know it's not something that we talk about in Nigeria. We are very vocal about, but I have a therapist. In fact, everybody in Nigeria needs therapy, as far as I'm concerned, because this nation is enough to drive into therapy. Right? And people always think it's until you have one problem or one big something before you speak to a therapist. That's not correct. Even though that's how I ended up in front of a therapist, right? But that's not correct. It shouldn't be so. Even for marriage, it's not until there's problem in your marriage before you now start seeking counseling. No, because you just want to be better. You're constantly refreshing yourself, unlearning, relearning. And what better way than to talk to somebody who is knowledgeable? And so if that's something that you want us to walk you on this journey, like I said, it's completely a free service. The payment, the value we expect from you is to put in the work, to go on this journey of healing, to go on this journey of self-discovery, to go on this journey of what it means to own your journey and accept yourself and be the better version of yourself, that your future generations will be grateful for you. That's the value we expect from you. And we'll do our part for you as well. I feel like I've been talking for a very long time now. Are you all still with me? But I hope that I've been able to communicate. Like they say, I hope I've been. What's that thing they say at debates? I've forgotten something at debates. Literary debates. I can't even remember. I hope I'll be able to convince you and not confuse you. I hope I haven't confused anyone this evening, right? This evening or whenever it is that you're catching up with this video. I hope I haven't confused you. I know it might seem a lot has been said. You might even need to replay and listen again, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So do you have any questions for me? Any questions, any comments, any questions at all? Have you got any questions? I'm right here for you. Yes, I've been able to convince and not confuse you with my points. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. Thank you for that, Florence. So does anyone have any questions for me? Right. Okay, I see that they're about okay. There's one question here. Okay, let me try and read this out while I wait for questions from more questions. Please send in your questions. Please send in your questions. Okay. So someone says, I guess maybe this person joined a little bit late, because it says, what advice would you give to young people who are struggling to accept themselves in today's social media driven world? So true, so true. In this social media driven world, how do you come to a place of accepting yourself? You come to a place of accepting yourself by, first of all, shutting your ears to all these things. First of all, you need this video from the... Okay, I'll take that question. You need to listen to this video from the beginning again, right? And how do I explain it? I think it goes back to that thing I said about when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So you come to a place of knowing you. When you come to a place of knowing you, you find out that you are not struggling. You realize that you are not in competition with anybody. I have classmates who, like in my church, I used to serve in the junior church, that's children's church. And at least I know that I know 3 classmates of mine who bring their children to junior church, and I take their children from them and tag the children. I should struggle with that. Not once have I ever felt bad about it, because I'm on my own journey. I am happy where I am. Don't get me wrong, I want to get married, I want to have kids. But I cannot see them as soon as they are dropping their kids and I'm tagging the children and I feel that, oh, I wish that was me. Never. I have not for once felt that way, because I am in my own journey. I'm in my own lane. And I am enjoying where I am. So that is how you will not be driven or struggle with accepting yourself in today's social media driven world. When you come to know you and know what is the purpose of you. I have another question here that says, how do you accept or love the negative parts of yourself? The first thing I would like to establish is that as there are negative parts of yourself, there are also positive parts of yourself. So I'm only establishing that so that you can be fair to yourself. I have negative parts. I have a negative side. I have a negative part. And it's the same way I have a good side. I have a very, very good side. And so do you. You have a good side. Right? So I just wanted to say that for us to be fair. So now that you know the negative part, and I'm just wondering, maybe when you say negative part, first of all, is it things that are like you cannot change? Right? Maybe... Well, let's assume if it's things that you cannot change in terms of your background, where you are coming from, or you were raped, you were emotionally abused, financially abused, sexually abused, or whatever. Those are things you cannot change, and you might have found yourself not liking yourself or hating yourself for those things. That incident cannot change. We can never remove the fact that it happened, right? But you can come to a place of finding purpose in your pain. You can come to a place of knowing that does not define you. And then when you talk about maybe the negative parts in terms of habits, let's sit down with this thing. What is this habit? Is it pornography, for example? What spurs you? And in fact, that's how... Oh, network. Can you all still hear me? Please, I need a confirmation. Someone just wrote network. I just need to be sure that you can all still see me and you can all still hear me. Can you hear me, please? Can you all hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So, what was that? What was I saying? So, if it's a habit, for example, that's how, for example, the Purity Journey community started when I started it, right? I have committed to waiting till marriage before having sex, but I realized that I still was dealing with some things. I was dealing with like, it doesn't mean I will not have sexual urges or any of those things, right? And then I was always in and out of dealing with pornography, masturbation, and everything. And it wasn't even about for me, it wasn't about and that's the thing. Things like masturbation and pornography, remember that it's very personal. People don't know, they will see you, right? And see me as church girl, they think you're perfect. But I knew I was struggling with these things, right? And so I would always read my Bible, pray about it. I had this devotional on You version then, and then I saw it, and I would read it, and I'll feel good. And then sometimes, after about a couple of months, it will happen again. And then until it occurs to me that this thing is a journey. You just don't say, oh, I'm not going to do this thing again. That's it. No, you're constantly reminding yourself, and not letting your guards down when it comes to sexual purity. That's what I'm talking about. Then it occurred to me again that I cannot be the only one that is struggling with this thing. As it's happening to me, it's happening to other people. And that's why I told about 20 friends of mine about it from the WhatsApp group. I remember that the first day we had our session was the first day that lockdown started. And then we had the group, and we went through that devotion for 7 days. Oh yeah, let's end the group now. They refused to end the group because everybody was like, wow, I can't believe that I can find a safe community where I can say, I don't want to have sex till I get married. And they don't make me feel bad. And I can talk about the other things that I'm dealing with. So one of the things I got to discover myself is that when I'm ovulating, I desire sex the most, which is, in fact, maybe to other people, they know that happens to women. Up until that time, I did not know. But I then got to discover that I realized that, so when I'm in that period, my ovulation period, I'm careful. The kind of conversations I'm listening to, the kind of movies that I am watching, the kind of people I hang. If you're my crush, I'll run away from you that period because I cannot trust myself. So why did I bring that out? God, why did I bring that out? I'm bringing that out because of, if it's a habit, think back, walk backwards. What are the triggers for this habit? What are the triggers for this habit? When do I find myself doing this thing that I do not like about myself? I hope I'm answering your question, Bukayo. And if you need me to, narrow down into something, right? If I'm not getting you clearly, please leave a comment for me to know that I'm not getting you clearly. But if it's a habit, that negative part that you're talking about that you do not like about yourself, identify it. Now that you've identified it, how did I come about this? What triggers this? Why do I do this? How often do I do this? Is it what somebody says to me? Is it whatever? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Then walk backwards. What do I avoid? How do I go about it? And sometimes it can be beyond you, and you need to speak to a counselor, and that's okay. When you recognize that this thing, I'm dealing with it, I don't know how to let go, is negative, I am aware of it, but I'm not happy about it. So how do I deal with this? You probably even need an accountability partner, which is not a counselor, it's a friend, right? Maybe it's a friend that you need. So that's another thing that I encourage in our community. Then everybody had an accountability partner. I'll be very vulnerable when I'm ovulating and I get horny like this. I call my friend, hey, come and help me, or this is happening and everything. And even being vulnerable with the Holy Spirit, like, I feel this way, and I know that this is not the right time to go on the internet and be looking for rubbish. No. And to the glory of God, God has really helped me on that journey. All right, thank you. You've confirmed I've answered the question. I have another question here that says, how did you deal with running away from people when you are not in a good headspace, as opposed to sharing with trusted people? Let me take that again. How do you deal with running away from people when you are not in a good headspace, as opposed to sharing with trusted people? I'm not sure I quite understand the question. Maybe somebody else understands it. You can please help me retype it, but just from the little that I think I understand about the question, when you say how did you deal with running away from people when you are not in a good headspace, as opposed to sharing with trusted people, right? So if I understand your question and I look at my journey of where I was, right, there was a point I didn't know whether I was in a good headspace or I was not in a good headspace. I just had people that I trusted. Maybe when I don't say people, maybe one or two persons that I trusted. And so whichever way I was feeling, or I was thinking, or I was going through, I was just vulnerable with that person, with those people. And in fact, one of those persons today is my mentor, who was the person that was on our Instagram live the last time, right? I just met her as a normal person, and along that I just realized that I could confide in her, I could open up to her and all of that. And so all the thoughts that come to my head, or whether, and again, it was a no judgment zone. That's another thing that helps you to trust people when you know that they are not judging you. Whether good, whether bad, whether ugly, and all of that, I could be vulnerable this way because my headspace was not even, or just say my mindset or I wasn't healthy enough to even say, oh, this is a good headspace, that's not a good headspace, and all of that. I was able to be vulnerable with the person. And of course, in she sharing with me, listening to me, I began to grow and grow and grow till I knew that my head was set straight. I hope that answered your question. And if it didn't, please let me know and I'll go back to it. I have another question that says, I think for me, it's the constant reminder from people around you that makes one feel like something is missing. Every birthday greeting has to be laced with a hint of pity. My sister, please, first of all, you're not the only one, and I understand what you're saying. Constant reminders, right? And that's why this thing we're talking about is a journey where you're constantly affirming yourself. You're constantly talking to yourself. Don't pity me. Please, do not pity me. And me, I'm blessed with a mother that does not pressure me to be married. She does not. I know she prays about it. I know that it worries her, but she never verbalizes it to me. So maybe I'm blessed with that. So for me, if my mother cannot disturb me, who are you to bother me or try to greet or be nice and say, if I, the normal, and again, prepping yourself, right? Let me try not to be violent and answer your question in a very answer your question appropriately. What I'm trying to say is that, first of all, unfortunately, our descent as African, right, I feel like marriage has been very, very much idolized, whereby it's an achievement for a woman. If you've not married, you've not achieved. If I see the difference, I go to the fuel station, I go to the supermarket, I see the way I am treated because I'm not wearing a ring compared to the person who is wearing a ring and they're saying yes ma or yes sir and all of yes ma to the person and respecting the person. It's just unfortunate, but that's the climate that we live in. And even not even just the climate we live in, there are some of us who even live abroad, but the African is inside the person, and the person is still very African in the America that they are living, right? So it's not even by location. Now, there are some things you want to be prepared for. Oh, there's a family wedding that is coming up, right? You know that you are going to hear the song, and if you're not Yoruba, I'm going to translate it. Tieno Ade, Tieno Ade. Sometimes I want to accept that. Oh, they mean well. They are praying for me. Tieno Ade, and it's true. Mine too will come, right? And sometimes when my mom says those things, when I know my friend is getting married, Tieno Ade, I know she means it from a good place, so I use that light to see every other person that tells me Tieno Ade, which means yours will come, right? Or I tell her, oh, my friend just had a baby. My mom will say Iria carry, meaning, okay, I'm not sure I can translate that, but I think it means so the joy or the testimony will multiply or something like that, right? And so I just take it that way based on what she said. So you need to prepare your mind, which is maybe it's a family function. As birthdays are coming and everything, be joyful, be happy. Don't be unable to sense the pity. Be unable to sense it. Let them pity themselves and not you. Laura, I hope I've been able to answer your question. I know it's difficult, and sometimes it might be that you are going through a low moment, and that's when somebody brings up something trying to pity you, and it makes you even feel worse. Of course, I have my down times as well, when I feel like, oh, when is my own person going to come and everything? But then I have a solid support system whereby I go to them, I talk to them, and like, this is how I'm feeling. They encourage me. There are sometimes I tell myself, I'm tired of I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to go and talk to this person about this, and so I'm trying to Holy Spirit and all of that. And maybe by the time I'm telling my friend later that I felt this way, I was down, but I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to. She's like, come on, get off it. Why will you say that you don't want to burden me? Of course, we love you. Of course, that we are always here for you and all of that. So maybe that's another thing. Having a solid support system. It can be one or two girlfriends whereby you already know, maybe we'll discuss all the things I know all these aunties and uncles are going to say about you as another birthday is coming. You would have talked about it, you'd have laughed about it, or such that even when they do say it, you have a safe space to go to rant. You have a safe space to go to really express how you feel, and nobody's making you feel less of yourself, but they validate your feelings because your feelings are actually valid. So even though sometimes our feelings are so valid, some people trample on them with the things that they say, especially if they're a voice of reason in our lives, like a parent or an auntie or probably even a religious leader or something, right? It might make us feel so bad. That's why you have your safe space where they validate you with the things that are true. So I hope I've been able to answer this question right. As they are doing their own constant reminder, you should be doing your own constant reminder is that you have a blessed life. Everything works together for your good, and it makes everything beautiful in its time. And that's why affirmations are very important, whereby you are constantly telling yourself, I am valuable, I am worthy of love. I deserve to be loved. God makes everything beautiful in its time. Mine is going to happen, and it's going to happen at the right time, and it's going to be beautiful. By the time you say that to yourself every single day, when you go out, what one auntie is saying or not saying, it will not even matter. That's the truth, because they're like, please, moving on, right? So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you, people. I've actually had a great evening, having this conversation, and I hope I've been able to encourage you. Again, we are here for you at House of Eve Counselling. You want to begin this journey of owning your journey. I feel like I'm always saying journey, but yeah, life is a journey. You can't blame me. So you want to start this of owning your journey or accepting you, go on to our to the link in our bio and fill the let's get to know you questionnaire. One of our counselors will reach out to you, and it's just so counseling session is not as scary as some people think it is. It's listening to you, helping you, counseling you, should I say advising you, guiding you on the right decisions to make. And most important is that we make you realize that you are not the only one going through this, which is what most times you feel like you're the only one going through this, and everything is just, you're just in this bubble, you're in this dark space. No, you're not in this dark space. You are not the only one going through what you are going through. So it's really been a beautiful evening. Thank you all for your questions and for your comments. You've been a wonderful audience, and we are grateful for you always showing up. Our next Instagram live is on the 14th of August, and we're going to be having a guest. So make sure you follow us if you're not following us already. Make sure you share this, share our page with your friends. Once the full video is up, we're going to put you up on the page, and you can share with your friends, and even the excerpts from this video, we're going to put you up as well. Make sure you share, you repost, right? This is great content, and there's so much content out there, people saying rubbish and leading people astray. If you know this is good content and it has blessed you, kindly share with your friends. Tell them. So the full video will be up in 48 hours on our YouTube, 48 hours or less on our YouTube channel, which is House of Eve Counselling. All the links are in our bio. Just go on it and tell somebody about us. Like I said, our next live is on the 14th of August, and we're going to be having a guest, and it's going to be another wonderful session yet again. So I hope to see you soon. Engage with our materials. Respond to the post. Respond to the post. Repost our materials. Just let the word get out there, and let's help someone live the abundant life that they truly deserve. It's been my pleasure speaking this evening to you, representing the House of Eve Counselling team, and till I come your way next time, my name is Toyin Billions Oluwatoyin, and it's been a beautiful evening. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.